Okay, so we have our routes connected. Let's go ahead and do some more configs here in this file. So moving down to the import section, we need to give a reference here for the Okta Auth module. So we're going to use this module in our application, and we need to reference it for the imports. And then also for providers, we need to give a reference here because we're going to perform some dependency injection of the Okta Auth service. So we simply give a reference here to this Okta config. And we also tell it to use the value created a little bit earlier. Okay, so everything's in place here. I'm excited. I'm ready to test this application out. So let's swing over to IntelliJ and make sure that our Spring Boot backend is up and running. If not, go ahead and start it now. Then I'll also swing over to my Angular app and get that one up and running.
And one thing you may have noticed, when you ran your Angular application, there were a number of warnings that were displayed. You can safely ignore the warnings for now, but don't worry, I'll discuss them at the end of the video and show you how you can resolve the warnings. Don't worry, I got you covered.
Okay, we can swing into our web browser here. And we can swing over to our Love to Shop application. All right, so here's our app like we've been using before, but notice here up top in the top right, there's a login button. Oh yeah, oh yeah. So let's go ahead and try it out. So we click on login, takes us to the login screen. Good, so this is the Okta sign-in widget that's integrated into our application. We can just give username here, demo@lovetocode.com, any password. Okay, so unable to sign in. So now give the actual username that you use for your account. Okay, the one that you created for your application, and then also the password that you used for your account. So that's whatever the account is that you created when you signed up with Okta. So in my case, it was demo@lovetocode.com, my password. Go ahead and hit sign in. And now I'm successfully logged in. So we can see, welcome back, Demo Darby. So that's just a account name that I created when I set up my example. So we're successful in logging in. And notice here how our login status component is working accordingly, showing us those messages based on the authentication status. So I like it. I like it. So we can go ahead and log out. And again, that worked. And as we can see, the buttons changed based on the login status. So I'm really happy with what we have so far. We've successfully implemented login, logout with our application by making use of the Okta sign-in widget. So I'd like to say, good job, my friend.
Okay, so as I mentioned earlier, there were a number of warnings and you saw those ugly messages. These messages are regarding the module dependencies. The owners of the module dependencies would need to update the packaging accordingly. However, for now, we can tell Angular that we will allow these dependencies. This will effectively ignore the warning messages when we start our Angular application. Now let's go ahead and open up the file angular.json. And we'll move down to the options section of this file. And we'll add a new entry for allowed common JS dependencies. Now let's take a look at the list of warnings. Notice the entry here for Babel. We will copy this information and add it to the Angular JSON file. We'll also do a similar thing here for crossfetch. And then we'll just repeat the process for the other entries until we are done. Okay, those are all of the entries. Be sure that you save your file. You'll need to restart your application since we made updates to the angular.json file. Now when you run your application again, you should not see those warning messages. Excellent. So our app is up and running with no warnings. Good job.